You never know where you're going to find a great idea. Sometimes it comes from the most unexpected places and can change everything. And in a moment, I'm going to tell you a little story about how that happened with me. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Wendy, and this is your money message for today. This is where we talk about the money side of running a private practice, which isn't just about money, actually. Often it's about mindset. And today we're going to be talking about a little bit of both of those. So, several years ago, I was working with a business coach. I am almost always working with a business coach somewhere because I really believe in that. And I'd hired her to help me with a completely different business that had nothing to do with my counseling practice. But we were having a conversation, sort of a random conversation one day, where she happened to mention that she and her husband had started doing some counseling work and how great it was and how much they were getting out of it. And then she mentioned how hard it had been for them to find someone who was just right for them and what they were looking for. And she said to me, half joking, half serious, "You should do something about that, Wendy. It's hard to find somebody who's right for you." And that kind of got the wheels turning. We started talking about that. And before you know it, sure enough, I came up with an idea. Now, in the last video I made for you, I shared with you some very specific things that you could do to make sure that the referrals that you're getting are people who are already a good fit for you, right? And we talked about, in particular, 5 different places in your practice where you need to be able to communicate clearly and effectively who you see, how you help, what you do, so that people know that you're the one to call. And they also know when you're not the one to call. We talked about that for sure. And in that video, I suggested you might have a little bit of cleanup work to do. And I'm wondering if you have done that. And if so, how things are going. If you have followed what I taught, my guess is you're still getting plenty of referrals, but they're better referrals who are more likely to be a good fit for you. But here's my question. What if it's possible that that conversation needs to go actually a little bit further? Because here's the problem, y'all, and you know this. When you're the one looking for help, it's really hard to know who to go to. Whether you're looking for help with a bad back or a knee that doesn't work, or you're looking for help with a broken heart, most of us are, even if you're a therapist, we're all kind of starting from scratch, right? I tell people all the time, half the time, the way it works is you find somebody who has an opening, who at least sees adults if you're an adult, or at least sees kids if you're looking for help with one of your kids, and who has a payment option that works for you, whether that's your insurance or not. And then you schedule an appointment and you just hope for the best. It's totally a shot in the dark, right? Well, what if there's a way that you could set up your practice in a way that made that whole process a little less daunting and a little better for anyone who is looking for you, for your potential clients? I happen to think that this is important and that there's a way to do this, actually a couple of different ways you can do this that are great, that serve everybody. I am a big believer in systems, and when you have a system that helps you kind of weed out folks at a finer level, you are even more likely to be seeing people that you love and that you really are just the right one for. Sometimes there's people that you'd love to work with, but there's somebody else who'd be even better for lots of different reasons, right? So I actually have 2 or 3 ideas for ways that you can create a structure that helps them explore, find, and hire the provider who's right for them. And hopefully that person is you. And when you help them, you're going to be helping yourself as well. Good treatment is good business. Good business is good treatment. I really believe that. So let's get right into those ways right now. First of all, and this is something I don't think anyone hardly ever does, I very rarely see this. If you've done a good job on your website and all your social media profiles and everywhere else, talking about who is your ideal client, People are going to go to your website to look you up, and they're going to look for your phone number or a button that they can click on where they can send you an email, something like that. When they do that, have clear instructions on your website that say, if you're looking for a new therapist, or if you're looking for a new energy healer, if you're looking for a new chiropractor, whatever it is you do, click here. And then have that take them to a very short, simple, easy to complete little form, a little mini questionnaire. I would say 3 questions if you can, 3 to 5 at the most, other than, of course, their name and phone number. And make those questions like the high level questions you need that would help you right off the bat sort of weed out if you're probably the right place for them, or at least at a place to begin looking. And then tell them that you will follow up either with an email response or that you will call them and say, and that you'll let them know what to do next. And what will come out of that is either you will call them and say, I'd love to talk with you. Let's talk about getting you in for an appointment. Or you will call them and say, I actually don't think I'm the right one for you, but I've got some ideas for you. Let me help you. Now, my second idea is what I see all of you doing. So many of you do this already. And that is this so called free consultation that everybody offers. It kind of tickles me when we say that, because free consultation is really nothing more than fancy language for I'm going to return your phone call. If you leave a voicemail at my office and say, Hi, I'm looking for help from my 10-year-old who's really struggling in school, I'm going to call you back and I'm going to say, How can I help you? What are you looking for? That's the free consultation. But really, I'm just returning your call. But you can actually make that a true consultation. And the first way I would do that is make sure it's tight. And the best way to do that is that you have identified blocks of time in your schedule that you set aside specifically for those calls, so that you are kind of on board, on deck, your energy's in the right place, and you're ready for those calls. And I would have a scheduling link that people can click on to schedule a time to talk to you about possibly working with you. Schedule your free 15-minute consultation here. And they click on that, and it takes them to that block of time that you've already set aside. Every Monday from 10 to 12, you do these calls, or every Thursday from 2 to 4, or 1 to 3, or whatever. I don't care what it is. And they find the time that works for them. And then that's what you're going to be doing those times. The rest of the week, when people make those calls, you just send them to that scheduling link, and they are all managed in the same way in the same time. That's a beautiful system. And that idea was shared in the Money Talk Hangout, this weekly conversation that I host inside the Ideal Practice community. That was shared in the Money Talk Hangout just recently by Cheryl Perry, who is a therapist in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's how she handles those kinds of calls. I think that's brilliant. Now, if you want to take that up a notch, blend those first 2 ideas. Tell them very clearly, if you're looking for a new provider who does whatever it is you do, start here. And on the Start Here button takes them to a little page that says we have a 2-step process. Number 1, if you could just answer a couple of questions. And number 2, schedule a phone call. And we will do a quick 15-minute free consult where I will help you determine what's best for you. The questionnaire is already telling you in advance. So when you get on that call, you already know something, and you can dive right in, and it's going to be time well spent, and you don't have to hear their whole life story before you know what to do. That makes sense? All of that, y'all, is a very easy, manageable way that you can do this right now that will free up time with you not having to return so many phone calls, and where your clients get some help figuring out what's best for them, and so do you. But now, let me tell you my favorite way to do this, which is option 3. And that is to don't offer any kind of a free consult at all, to only offer a paid consult that you specifically describe as kind of a test run, a chance where you and they together will decide what's best for them. That's what happened to me. So when that coach so many years ago told me this story about how hard it was for her and her husband to find someone who was a good fit, she said, I really wish you people would figure out a way to make this easier for people. And what she and I came up with that I ended up implementing was I created a whole new way of starting the conversation with anyone who calls my office. And ever since then, I would say to people, I don't agree to see anybody until you complete or we complete my initial consult. And I have a special name for it, and I have a special description for it, and a special pricing for it. And out of that consultation, that paid consultation, we together will decide if I'm the right person for you or if there might be a better place. And I'll be able to help you figure that out at that point because I'll know more about what's going on with you. And let me tell you, that has been super popular ever since I never looked back. Never looked back. It's been a huge win for me ever since. It was a win in a couple of ways. One, I instantly started to boost my income because I charged more for that initial consult. Two, I learned something, which was that people were willing to pay for that, even knowing that what came out of it might be that I referred them out. They were still willing to pay for it. And that helped me boost my confidence and gave me what I needed, the courage I needed to make some other changes in my practice on down the line. That was the beginning of a lot of change. So, this is my recommendation for you. Think about the process you use when you get on the phone with people to have that whole conversation about whether they should come, and see if you can't create a system that you structure around it that involves an initial questionnaire, 3 to 5 questions max. They should be able to do it in under 5 minutes, or a free consult that is timed, that is scheduled in advance during blocks of time that you set aside for that, or a blend of those two. And then the last one is to scrap all of that and do a paid consult only. And in every one of these, whichever one you do, describe it as, I really want to help you make sure that you're in the right place. And this is how we're going to do that. And your audience will really love this and they will really appreciate it. And your life will be less scattered, less hectic. You will have fewer kind of phone calls at the end of the day to return. You have a process that is pretty easy to manage. I think you'll love it. So try that. Let me know what you think. It could really help you. And with that, I'm going to let you go. One last thing before we wrap up. If you love tips like this, you've already heard me talking about this because I'm talking about it everywhere. I have a brand new ebook I've put together with 31 ways that you can increase cash flow in your practice. And this is one of them, what I share with you today. There's plenty more. And all of them are things that I have used effectively and successfully myself. You can find that over on my website at www.wendypittsreeves.com/cash flow. Check that out. Go get your own free copy and see if there's not something in there that you can implement today in addition to what I just told you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week, and I will see you on the next video. Bye now.